TES, we have here a huge game, and now we are slightly behind in terms of the goal. In terms of, sorry, we're slightly behind, and so these are the picks and bans. Unfortunately, we were not able to witness it go down live. Looks like from the side of TES, we have a pretty simple early to mid game composition with is that a interesting. Okay, sorry, this is screwing up my brain a little bit. That's a Lee Sin top for Cheng Tian, and then that's Rumble Jungle and LeBlanc mid. Of course, Knight, one of the big LeBlanc players. While Crying in the mid lane, we'll have a Lissandra to keep him company and hopefully keep him safe. I like this. We have Kaisa coming in for Gala. Ming gets his signature Nautilus as well. And in the top lane, it looks like Xiaohu on that Renekton first pick, and then we got Wei on the Diana. So looking at these lanes, Crying will probably have mid prio. Xiaohu will be able to access the wave pretty decently. However, the E's coming out from the Lee Sin might just automatically shove the wave. Now I'm very excited to watch Gala back on Kaisa again. I love watching this man play Kaisa, and honestly, I think he does not play it often enough. In fact, in this split, he's only played it twice, so this is one of the rare occasions. I'm really gonna soak this one in. Interestingly enough, both AD carries opting for the longsword rather than a Doran's Blade start, and that does seem to be the trend now for a lot of champions. I always thought Doran's Blade start was pretty good, but as it turns out, it doesn't. According to what the players have managed to research for themselves, that does not seem to be the case. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what unfolds before our very eyes. Now, TES is number 9 seed now with 2 wins and 2 losses, while RNG are all the way at the bottom of the table at 13th place with their 1-3 score. RNG not off to a very hot start at the start of the season with their 3 losses, as I'm not quite sure. I do believe that's supposed to be Knight, though. I'm surprised if that's Cheng Tian, as already in the mid lane Crying, taking a pretty unfavorable trade, and missing that Q means that he's absolutely getting battered down now by Knight. And so far, Crying has not seemed to be dominating in any lane he's been in. Unfortunately, it's been rather uncomfortable to watch him just continuously get beaten down by various mid laners across the first initial 4 games of the split. And in the top lane, it's interesting to see Xiaohu opting for the Renekton, of course, as I mentioned every single time, the most banned champion in the LPL. And right now, it doesn't seem that RNG do have a lot of tools available in order to snowball that lane, especially against the sheer mobility provided by the Lee Sin with his Safeguard Iron Will as well as his Sonic Waves. And really, if you don't snowball a Renekton, there really isn't too much of a reason to go for that pick. But I mean, Xiaohu does have priority up towards the top side. It looks like he is going to be ganked here. There is no vision available. Wei is in the area. He is at red buff. And if they delay this too long, I think Wei could get into area. Xiaohu is baited to dice, slice in, and maybe even dice out. Cheng Tian forced the flash. Flash after is Xiaohu. And Xiaohu looks to be taken down here by Karsa, dodging away very nicely from the Electro Harpoon, and actually getting Karsa down to 1/3 of his HP. I do believe there was a Call the Meek coming right for him. And in that situation, it could have been catastrophic, as Cheng Tian, welcome to the league, buddy. He's immediately turned onto there by Xiaohu. No hesitation whatsoever. Absolutely trying his best to get a 1-for-1 and very successfully enabled to do so. Wei is in the top side, is trying to counter jungle away the blue buff from Karsa, and by the looks of it, he will get it. Meanwhile, in the Crying, Knight just asserting his domination, might not be so comfortable getting priority right now. And with that 1 minion, he might even be able... No, actually, no, I don't think he's going to be able to freeze the wave because of that 1 minion. You're gonna need a few more than that. So already right off the bat, we got a little bit of action coming out from both these teams. Both the teams that everyone expects to come out of the groups, come out of the regular season on top. Everyone expects these teams to just absolutely dominate, be the representatives for the LPL. As in the top side, Xiaohu and Cheng Tian just going at each other non-stop. Xiaohu in his first full year being a top laner is absolutely doing a fantastic job, as Karsa just spotting out away on his Krug camp, giving the rest of his team some inkling of safety. Now Crying has no idea by looks of it that Karsa was there, as another dodge coming out. So far, the solo laners of RNG showing some pretty good dancing shoes, fancy feet, and electro harpoons have been flying left and right, but never really finding their mark, as it looks like full bot side control goes in favor of TES. Dragon is spawning in 30 seconds, so I find it unlikely that a Rumble will attempt for it. Now Wei is looking to prepare a dive onto Qingtian, and already Xiaohu getting a ton of harass onto him while simultaneously pushing the wave Qingtian in a very disastrous situation, trying to hit for his next tower. Unfortunately, it will not be that will not be available to him as the teleport is forced out. That was a huge wave. If he lost that, TES as a collective would be in huge trouble, not just Qingtian, as Knight's teleport was forced out. Did manage to shove in the wave first, so not too much is going to be lost. But teleport advantage, that means, is in favor of RNG, and they can look to transition this towards the bot side, maybe, should something happen. Thankfully, there are no wards available for the members of RNG to use to leverage their teleport advantage. Karsa might be caught out here on this Grump, but Zuo has already rotated to ensure that he is able to safely retreat. Extraction of Private Karsa is completed. Alright. So a little bit of initial early action. What I said about not being able to snowball the Renekton lane apparently was a falsehood, to say the least, as RNG just basically leveraging the early game power of the Renekton, not requiring a strong ganking jungler in order to just tip the scales ever so in the favor of Xiaohu. And it looks like Xiaohu, honestly, very comfortable right now against Qingtian, who, to his credit, has recently only just made his way up from the academy, and really is probably not quite used to playing in the big leagues just yet. So I think we should be gracious in our doling out of criticism. We should not, be too willing to dole out criticism, as of course he is the weak point in the side of TES. Everyone else is much more experienced compared to him, as Qingtian is being chased around his minion wave, trying his best to get away from Xiaohu, who is just clearing out the waves and harassing and sustaining with his Call the Meek amidst all these people. The rage bar is stacked, Karsa is in the area, looks to just farm his ground, but little does he expect to have to come in and probably counter gang for this, as Wei sticking out of the shadows, but the smite was there for Karsa. CS is slightly in favor of Wei as he stops and waits to see what can happen here. Qingtian trading pretty favorably with the tower as well behind him, and Xiaohu, in spite of his calls, actually exerting tons of pressure right now onto Qingtian. That little bit of sustain, it looks like, is not at all a hindrance. I mean, it's a huge hindrance for Qingtian, but it's not at all. Okay, I don't know what I was gonna say there. Okay, go work on that. Anyways, so looking at the map, looking across both the compositions and looking across both the players right now, as Xiaohu just popping that shield, I think Karsa's gonna step in and smite it away from him. Though smite is not available, Xiaohu tanking up the entirety of the flame splitter, but it looks like Wei did manage to secure that Scuttle Crab with his own smite, which grants him level 5, finishing up his stacks as well. Karsa is slightly behind, and Wei is just one camp off of his level 6, in which case that's where we're going to see some real fireworks go down. Looking at both of these compositions, we have a dive composition coming out from TES, meanwhile RNG have pretty much the same thing. So we have two people going headlong into each other, but TES do have a bit of a weaker dive composition, but more of a poke composition with Jackie Love, as both Wei and Karsa just taking turns to invade each other's jungle, maybe even posture for dives. But Karsa needs to be careful, as he might be baiting Qingtian here into an awful situation, as Karsa rounds the corner, as Wei does as well. Just the corner is a little bit further behind. The teleport advantage is being leveraged right now, as in comes Crying, does have flash available to him. Wei is here as well, as a flash comes in. Moonfall pulling in Karsa, who tries to flash away towards the tri-bush, but he's flashing away from his base as well, as the flash is also used by Crying to lock him up in the Ice Tomb. And just like that, Karsa is taken down. Xiaohu, not one to be trifled, messed with, or pissed off at, just goes back to farming, and Qingtian really not able to access the wave. 47 to 74 CS right now. Gold heavily in favor of Xiaohu, almost 1,000 in favor, and I'm pretty sure this is not a back you want to stop, my guy. As Knight making his way towards the bot side, as Dora jumps in with the Xenoblade, hook goes wide, as Gala trying his best to stay alive. Unfortunately, Ming not able to do so much, as the anchor comes down. He's gonna be CC'd up, nice little flash away from the solar flare, but Wei's coming around the corner, does not have the Moonfall available, using the clone as the depth charge comes in, finishing off Knight. Zor under tower is going to be finished off in turn by Wei, and trades across the board. Wei coming in quite late, as the depth charge just blows Knight out of the water, quite literally and figuratively. And a 2-for-1 trade. Gala not so happy with that, I would imagine, but still, regardless of that fact, is able to very comfortably pick up some assist money. Might not have gotten the experience. As to be expected, Kaisa is kind of suffering a little bit in this wave. The Varus pick is designed to be a huge nuisance in the beginning, as both the members of RNG, look at how confidently they're playing. They do spot out Knight, however. It's unfortunate that Ming missed that hook, and that really is what led to Gala to death. I do believe they could have secured themselves a 2-for-2 trade. Nice little flash coming out from Ming, though, away from the solar flare, as in comes Wei, just using the the LeBlanc dummy in order to trampoline himself right onto range in order to crescent strike Knight out of the air. And just like that, nice little bit of action. Six kills already in a 9-minute game. Rift Herald has also spawned, but looks like RNG are the ones who are in position to secure it. Leona is off towards the bottom side. Looks like she's securing herself either some vision or the Scuttle Crab, and I certainly hope it isn't the Scuttle Crab because Wei is doing his right now. But already it looks like both teams not really trying for an immediate early Rift Herald. RNG, I would say, have a decent bit more scaling than TES does with the Diana as well as the Kaisa picked over the Varus and the Rumble pick, who kind of peaked during the mid game and at that point kind of taper off ever so slightly. Cleanse is not available for Gala and Solar Flare is for Zor, so he's gonna have to blow his flash should Zor prove to be an absolute sniper when it comes to landing those. Dragon is up as well, and we see Karsa making his way towards bot side with no camps in this area. This shows us an intent to either do a Dragon or to get some ganks going on. Looks to be a dive as Knight is also securing himself some mid priority. Karsa, unfortunately, in order to get to a dive position, will probably have to walk through a ward. It looks like he's just going straight down the middle as in comes Knight as well. Crying, trying his best to follow up, but Crying is a little bit low on mana. Ways on the opposite side of the map, so I think RNG would want to back away from this tower. They have been spotted out. Knight has been spotted out on that ward in the river entrance, and Crying is about to be spotted out by the pink ward as well as Knight jumping in over the wall after him. Will he shoot the chains out? His in comes the equalizer. Solar Flare coming out as well, but Ming absolutely saved with the stopwatch. But it looks like Knight is just here to pick up a free Gala. Looks like Jackie Love spares him the effort and just snipes him with the piercing arrow, but looks like Ming will not be long for this world either. Quite greedy from the members of RNG staying under the tower despite full well knowing that Knight was coming down. Despite full well knowing that their own jungler was off towards the top side securing Rift Herald, TES trading Dragon for Rift Herald and securing themselves 2 very free kills. Actually, this combo is quite insane with the various chains of corruptions onto the equalizer, onto the Solar Flare. But meanwhile, in the top side, Qingtian kicking Xiaohu under tower, but looks to be not a matter at all as Xiaohu waiting 1 second for his Ruthless Predator to come off of cooldown and flashing in right on after Qingtian, who actually saved his flash. Very greedy for him, but he will be able to get himself some more tower platings to supplement the CS XP and kill lead that he has grown over the rookie into the LPL. As across the board, things are just going down. Towers are going down. People are going down. Kills are going down. Objectives are definitely going down, and already the pace of this game is just accelerating beyond what we need. We could be hitting terminal velocity in no time, ladies and gentlemen. Whoo! Just a quick break. 9 kills in a 12-minute game. Quick replay here as we see the ultimate combo. Very nice equalizer dropped right onto both Gala and Ming, and then the chains of corruption spreads onto Gala as well at this point. There really was nothing you could do as RNG. If they opted to not abandon their tower, then this was ultimately the fate. And imagine if they abandoned that tower, then RNG would have gotten 2 towers across the board, probably for free. It really would have been so much better, but unfortunately RNG's bot lane just being a little bit greedy, I guess, not wanting to be the weak spot of their team. Honestly though, them being there and buying quite a fair bit of time is probably the reason that the 2 towers did fall across the map. Sorry, and in fact might be the reason why the tower is still alive, as TES don't really have a very powerful tower taking combo right now. Wei, on the other hand, is extremely strong, probably the first member in the entire game alongside Xiaohu to have finished his mythic item. So right now the top end jungler of RNG are absolutely their strong point, while Kaisa in the bot side is suffering in this lane and is looking forward more than anything, I think, for the mid game where he gets an opportunity to jump onto Jackie Love and absolutely punish him for his transgressions that unfolded in lane, as Wei now, with Crying on his heels, is looking to get a quick invade off. Little do they know Karsa is in the area as well, and they are sitting right on top of a ward. It looks like TES are going to rotate in position to try and capitalize on them, but the suspicions have been raised. Spider senses are tingling. And the RNG duo back right off, Crying, taking a little bit of harass off in the mid lane, not even able to hit Knight with an auto attack by the looks of it, as Crying, although he does have on paper the counter matchup, is not doing so well. Is only 100 gold behind in terms of items, in terms of overall gold, while Wei is nearly 2,000 gold ahead of his counterpart, and Ming might be baiting for his life here. I think the Oscar is about to go to him as Wei is in the area. In fact, all of the members are available. Teleports are available for both solo laners as well, and he could join this fight in just a smidge of a moment as Knight jumps in, is absolutely CC chained and exploded. I don't think that was a good idea, buddy. Although Crying might be a little bit slow, he isn't that slow. He is, after all, an LPL pro player in for RNG, and Xiaohu now asserting complete dominance of the top side of the jungle. Karsa is going to find himself with very little to farm. As soon as his camps respawn, the crocodile is going to be there, and the crocodile comes, he crocodile takes, and the crocodile absolutely devours anything that is his right now. As Karsa trying to cross over into his jungle, trying to pick up this wave along the way. As blue buff is spawning, Xiaohu's blue buff that is, Karsa will be able to rotate over, and chances are they'll be able to contest it even, as yep, they've got more players around here. Crying is coming over, and as is Wei, so Xiaohu really trying to buy time for his team to get into position. That being said, they might not expect the rotation coming out from Zuo. He is in base right now, but looks like Xiaohu will make away with that little victory and just top himself right up with that beautiful honeysuckle plant. And already, RNG, despite the fact that they haven't really been the ones to make the proactive plays, their responses have been exceptional, getting huge things traded across the board for TES's emphasis in shutting down Gala towards that bot lane. Now let's see what unfolds here. Looking at the items, looks like Qing Tian, despite the bumpy lane that he has experienced, has managed to complete his God Drinker to his credit, and as a result will not be too incredibly far behind. That is, of course, until Xiaohu gets his back off, because I do believe Xiaohu has not channeled his recall in a little while, has 2 Ruby Crystals up on the Lee Sin. In terms of experience, however, he's 1 entire level up, and Qing Tian just trying to harass him as best as possible. Karsa's location is a well-known fact right now, as he's being pinged out like crazy. Dragon is spawning in 30 seconds time, as another Everfrost comes in. Mythic items available for both the mid laners as well. All that is lagging behind really are the bot laners, and right now Jackie Love quite significantly ahead of Gala in terms of item value. If we look at it, as his Muramana is already beginning to stack, and he's nearly completed as well with his Dust Blade. In the top side, meanwhile, TES looking to see if they can trade the dragon for even a kill or maybe a tower, but it does not look to be the case. In fact, it looks like they are more interested in contesting nothing. Rift Herald will be spawning in about a minute, but right now Wei is just too scary for any member of RNG to face off against him, as is Xiaohu. In a 1v1 situation, both of these players will absolutely take over the game and destroy you. Renekton with nearly completing his Sterak's now. Meanwhile, in the bot side, Crying able to leverage some pressure and get some harass down onto this bot side tower, is being surrounded ever so slightly, but the members of TS unknown where RNG, not knowing where RNG is not able to step into their own jungle very safely. Nice little sidestep coming in there from Crying, dodging away from the chains, and it looks like RNG, with full control of the top side of TES's jungle, will be able to start up this Rift Herald. So the mid game is fast approaching. 1 to 2 item power spikes is exactly where TES and the rest of the squad want to be, as Gala absolutely gets destroyed. A last tip of the piercing arrow pierces him right between the shoulder blades, and he goes down for a 3rd time this game. A majority, 60% of the kills on the side of TES are on to Gala, and although Gala is not having the time of his life, let's not forget that Gala is one of the most farming AD carries in the game. 9.8 CS a minute is recorded as Wei is shot by the solar flare. Qing Tian jumping in as well, not dealing any damage, as it looks like Jackie Love has been caught up in the front lines by the depth charge. Going in was Crying, but in comes Xiaohu, in goes Wei, and out goes the rest of RNG, who are absolutely decimated. A 3-for-0 trade after the pick coming in from Gala, and looks like Gala's gonna have himself a little bit of a reward, as Karsa just walks right into him. Gala will tank the Electro Harpoon, he will tank the initial 3 deaths, but he will be rewarded ultimately, as RNG will not leave him to hang or to dry. Alright, nice bit coming out from RNG. It looks like they are coming into week 4 out of 4 games so far with a 1-3 record. Looks like they're coming out swinging, as the last outer tower falls for TES. RNG now 2 towers ahead, 5 kills ahead, 7,000 gold lead spread out across the majority of their team, consolidating mainly in Xiaohu and Wei, but also being spread ever so slightly to Crying, and just a little bit trickling on to Gala's shoulders himself. As we see here, the unexpected Prowler's Claw forward, and although the Chains of Corruptions do not find their mark, the piercing arrow does. But Ming here, ever so ready to avenge his AD carry, just absolutely looks to explode JackeyLove and crying, not able to get his ultimate down fast enough. Fortunately though, is not matter as he is still finished off towards the tail end of that fight. Now, Baron is spawning in 20 seconds time. We have 15 kills in a 20-minute game. Kills ever so slightly lagging behind the duration, but as soon as the neutral objectives like this third dragon or the first Baron of the game come onto the board, show up, it's when we're gonna see the number of deaths and kills fly off the charts. We're gonna see everything just rocket off into the stratosphere as Xiaohu making his way towards his third item as his way. It looks to be a Gargoyle Stone Plate for the top laner and a Zhonya's Hourglass for the jungler as RNG already starting up on the Baron buff, putting Crying up towards the top side to create a false sense of suspicion for TES, but looks like TES have grown wiser to it, popping the blue lens. Qing Tian is the first on the scene, shooting out his Sonic Wave, unfortunately not hitting anything as the smite goes down and it actually gets stolen! The Rumble Ultimate steals it away, what the heck? But looks like Qing Tian is in the front line, no time to consider that as Gala getting his second kill of the game, throwing in the Prey Seeker, but RNG absolutely got robbed in that situation and the thieves TES just run for the hills back to the base. Unbelievable turn of events going down there. I'm not quite sure how that was even possible. Maybe Wei did not have his smite available, but you could have just waited for the equalizer to complete fully before finally bursting it. Catastrophe, catastrophe, catastrophe. But maybe not game defining as now the gold lead has closed and shrunken now to only 6,000 gold. TES, this is going to be a very defensive Baron as they're not going to be able to hit many towers with it, chances are. Dragon is spawning in 55 seconds time. JackeyLove does need to be careful. As let's see what went down. Smite is available. How did this equalizer just wait, take your time, wait. And then the last, oh my goodness gracious me. It almost looked as though, honestly, that the equalizer wasn't burning Baron at all. And Qing Tian doing his best. I mean, he's already behind. He's the weak side. It's perfectly fine to trade your own life for a Baron. Very worth. Just basically a lot of misplays coming out there from RNG and TES just making the best out of a terrible situation and somehow coming up aces in that situation. Absolutely. Now Gala has completed his Gale Force, is now begging for an opportunity to assassinate JackeyLove, looking for everything to be thrown onto him in the backlines of RNG and to just zip towards the backlines of TES and just go guns a-blazing down in a blaze of glory as Knight trying to stay away from Xiaohu as Xiaohu is stepping forward very aggressively, not taking any damage with that bulwark just alone. And it looks like Wei will secure the next dragon in favor of RNG. Windrake is going to be very, very, very nice for both teams as they both have very key ultimates. Could we see another equalizer dropped? Nope. Looks like that will not be the case. Karsa, one time lucky, two times not so, I suppose. As Rift Herald was dropped in the mid lane, looks like it's not going to accomplish anything whatsoever. Imagine if RNG had Rift Herald as well as Baron buff. That would have been absolutely massive. But as it is, it looks like they've been their aggression has kind of been stymied as they're finding it pretty hard to push forward with the limited amount of wave clear that they have with the Renekton as well as the Lissandra in their solo lanes. Followed by a Kaisa, a short-range Kaisa, as Xiaohu just leashing the Grump for Karsa, who in return at least provides him with a pink ward to get some of that gold back. Alright, so there's a quick lull in the action. If we look at the gold, oh my goodness, Xiaohu 5,000 gold ahead. In fact, I think he's almost the entirety of the gold lead in favor of RNG. So honestly, Xiaohu has quite a bit on his shoulders. Wei, of course, has quite a bit on his shoulders as well. And if these two players go down before any other member of TES does, that could signal the win for TES. So basically what we have here is TES looking to try and one-shot CC chain down both Wei and Xiaohu. Though it's that's a little bit of a dangerous territory to trot on, truth be told, because your engage tools, not too many. You really just have the Leona and kind of the Varus, and I suppose the Lee Sin, who in this situation might be jumped onto as Ming is swinging out wide, but looks like he's just going to pick up whatever vision he can in the top side jungle of TES. Whew. Okay. Let's see what unfolds here before our very eyes. Now, oddly enough, it looks like Knight has been the one electing to... Ooh, using the distortion very deep. Has been the one who opted to counter against Xiaohu while he left Qing Tian towards bot side with Crying. Good decision there. I don't believe Crying will ever be able to kill Qing Tian, who does have a decent amount of sustain with his God Drinker as well as the safeguard. But Ming, realizing that his position was known to the members of TES, quickly pops his sweeper and scurries away while he can. And it looks like right now RNG, unable to advance, unable to push forward with their goal lead, can only sit back and allow TES to farm up back into the game. Looks like that losing that Baron buff might have been actually extremely key in this battle between the between what many expect to be two of the strongest teams coming out of the LPL. But alas, this is why we love the LPL, ladies and gentlemen. It's because you never really know who's the strongest. You never really know which in every season who is going to be number one, who is going to be the number one seed, who is going to represent China and the LPL on the world stage come Worlds 2021, the widely anticipated for the second time going to be in China World Championship. Now, looks like with Baron spawning in a minute and Dragon a minute after, looks like RNG are beginning to renew their pressure across the map with Wei and Ming skulking in the top side. They are on a ward, however, and the entirety of TES know exactly what is going on up here. Crying, meanwhile, is still in the bot side, securing himself his own blue buff, really not pressuring the map at all. Not sure if I like this, as Xiaohu is being engaged on a Shield of Daybreak followed by a Solar Flare, but looks like it really doesn't do much to Xiaohu's HP bar. Neither does it really deter him too much from stepping forward so aggressively. Baron now in 25 seconds, as whatever members of RNG are able to are probably looking to, members of TES have made their resets. Now is a time for action. Now is a time to see how the game goes. This right now is going to be the most determining point of the game. Looking at the items before we go into Qing Tian at 2 items, as is Karsa, while as is Knight actually. Wow. Really, Jackie is the only member of his team who has more than 2 items, in fact, fully completing 3 items, including boots that would make it 4. Meanwhile, on the side of RNG, we have Xiaohu, 3 items strong. Wei, with his Magi Soul Stealer at 10 stacks, by the way, so this is very flip for the jungler. I think I would much prefer to see him just head towards his death cap, but right now, Knight stepping forward with a distortion. Alright, we have Crying with 2 items as well, and we have Gala right now, who has just recently completed his collector. So the items so far are quite in favor of nobody, as the equalizer is dropped right onto Xiaohu and Ming, splitting up the members of RNG, but Xiaohu stepping forward fearlessly in a 1v5 situation. His teleport coming in from Crying. No equalizer is available. Solar Flare, however, is still open, as look, Gala is being jumped onto by Knight, but he just stands his ground, looks for a fight, and this could be big for RNG, as the lack of an equalizer, I think, is a huge factor come a contest for neutral objectives. Jackie just clearing out the minions with his piercing arrow, and it looks like priority will be in favor of nobody in this current state of time. I think it's Knight, or is that Zuo? Oh, okay. I thought TS were contemplating contesting this, and I thought that Knight was the one who was channeling his recall, but it looks like TES do decide to give this up. Not having that key ultimate is pretty dangerous. Xiaohu making his way towards a Guardian Angel, as I think Wei is just waiting for himself to use his stopwatch before he finishes it out into a completed Zhonya's Hourglass. Meanwhile, Crying making his way towards the Death Cap, kind of quite a bit faster than Knight, truth be told, as he's managed to catch up in terms of CS from being in the bot side, left alone with Qing Tian for ever so long. Gala, on the other hand, has completed his 3rd item, as Jackie is making his way towards his 4th. Both supports are still struggling to complete their 2nd item, as it looks like Ming is going for the Zhonya's Hourglass. It's only about 2 items, 1 component and the recipe away from it, as Xiaohu completely ignoring Knight in this bot side, tanking up the tower as well and just running away. Sterak's not even popped. Looks like Xiaohu's going to need to get a recall off, as RNG already starting up Baron. Teleport is available for Knight, and he can be on point much earlier than Xiaohu, who still has yet to get back to base. We'll need to start channeling his teleport as soon as possible, as equalizer is dropped right onto Baron. Looks like it's not going to be a steal this time, as Karsa flashing in. Looks like Varus takes down Ming, but already in the fight is the rest of RNG, and TES just falling like dominoes. Really not much of a contest to speak of. as the moonfall went in, and that marked the end for the rest of TES. Now, Knight might make an attempt on Gala, but I think Gala can just as quickly turn this on him. Wei is in the area as well, and Gala doesn't get instantly popped right here. This could be the end. That being said, there is Zhuo off to the distance. Zhuo does have Solar Flare available, no Flash available. Xenoblade is available as Wei is about to face check into Knight. Gala now realizing he's fully surrounded, but looks like Knight is trying to beat a hasty retreat. Gala does have the kill. Oh, he doesn't actually have the killer instinct available, or he would fly in there in a 1v1, put up the Dukes. Baron buff available on the side of RNG means Xiaohu is pushing up the top side while everyone else is trying to just run rings around the rosies on the other side of the map. Looks like Xiaohu is deadly focused on trying to finish out this game before he begins to fall off too much. Whoo, RNG absolutely in control of this game, no doubt. The goal right now is just obscenely in their favor. It's like 1.13k gold in their favor, a more than 10k gold lead at this point in time. And TES not really a fully scaling composition. They could make some fantastic picks, but so far, to the credit of RNG, they haven't really put themselves in a position where they can get picked off very easily. As Crying just playing bodyguard, in comes the equalizer. Karsa tries to flash in the last moment, but the smite is there, and then we see Jackie Love just absolutely getting pounced and trounced in that last situation. And unfortunately, Karsa and Ching Tian, who followed Jackie Love in to try and secure the Baron, were not able to get anything. Now, Ching Tian might attempt for assassination right here onto Gala, but Gala, with all of his summoners available as well as the killer instinct, will probably turn it on to Ching Tian, because Gala, of course, come on, just do it. I want to see it. Come on. I really want to see Gala make a big play as he did in MSI, because his Kai'Sa is so clean. It's absolutely lovely. In fact, playing everyone's favorite skin against the originator, against the person who this skin was named after, as Gala is completely surrounded, flash in, but he turns invisible, actually destroyed, unfortunately, by the distortion as the Solar Flare stuns out 3, but Wei is in the backline, still has his stopwatch available, pops it right now as Ching Tian is baited in, and coming out of the stopwatch, he nearly is taken out, but Ching Tian, unfortunately, wait, Ching Tian's alive! Ching Tian's turning the game over as Crying is last man alive, along with Xiaohu, and Karsa unable to do anything, being kept away from his base by the solo laners of RNG. Crying does have teleport, is going to go back to base, and this looks to be the end of game 1, as the last person alive is Karsa without his ultimate available against the most fed member of RNG. Really, what can he do in this situation but just allow his towers to fall? Is flashing in right onto Karsa. Karsa will not have flash to get out of this as Everfrost comes down as well. Ruthless Predator and Call the Meek have not been used as Equalizer is dropped onto both of them. Zoro trying to CC up the members of it as much as possible, but it looks to not be enough. As look at that, Xiaohu, nearly blown up for his transgressions, as after that initial trade of kills in the early game, Xiaohu absolutely taking over. Can he cover top lane? Yes, he can. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching, and I think that will be the end of commentary for today. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya!